Hey y'all, Ramdino here. Well, I have searched far and wide to find equipment that I enjoy and then tested it and brought it to you so that you can think about enjoying it yourself. So today I've got two pieces of gear that are lightweight, inexpensive, and I've tested them out on the trail in several section hikes, got several hundred miles on both of them, and they have performed well. So I want to go ahead and bring those to you. So to find out what they are, stick around. Okay, full disclosure, both these pieces of gear were sent to me direct from the distributors. I believe they manufacture them as well, but in any case, I did not pay for these gear. They sent them to me and wanted me to use them. They have in no way, shape, or form told me that it was prerequisite on me giving them a great review, and I wouldn't do that. But I did want to just let you know that I had been looking for both of these pieces of gear, and it just so happened that these folks sent these to me. I did not contact them, so let's go ahead and get that out of the way. And one more thing is they have not paid to be here other than sending me their gear. So that be the case, let's get on with the gear. So the first gear I've got is the TAC9er carbon fiber tracking poles. So here before this I'd been using some aluminum tracking poles. I've been looking for some type of carbon tracking poles for I don't know, I guess about a year now, something a little more lightweight. And it just so happened that the folks there contacted me and sent these to me. So we'll talk a little bit about them. They are carbon fiber. A couple things that I like about them is, to begin with, they weigh less than what my aluminum tracking poles are. So my aluminum tracking poles, I think they're somewhere around 1 pound and 4 ounces, something like that I was using. And these come in for the pair at 14.8 ounces. So if you think about it, you know, you're going to be using these poles every stroke, you know, for the most part, every time you pick up your foot and move forward. Once you get in a rhythm, you're going to be using these. And so you're picking them up, and you think about how many steps you take a day, that's that much less weight you're lifting time and time again. So I can feel a difference out there on the trail, not only as I'm walking, but at the end of the day. Now, that's not just for the TAC9ers. This would be inherent for any type of carbon fiber tracking pole I would be using, but it does make a difference for me. They come with 5 different ends on them. So you've got your snow baskets, your powder snow baskets, which I'll never use those. You've got your just kind of snow basket, not necessarily deep powder. I'm not going to use these for snow skiing. You've got your rubber tips. So I have not used these. I started out trying to use those because I didn't use rubber tips on my other ones, and I don't like the rubber tips. And the reason I don't like the rubber tips is because they slide on the rocks too easy. And the tips that are on any type of tracking pole, the little small tips on the end, those really get into the nooks and crannies of the rocks and stabilize. And I use my tracking poles, you know, for going uphill, of course, taking weight off of me, helping myself uphill, but I really use them a lot when I'm going downhill to brace myself. One reason is because it's easier on my knees. I do have some knees that from time to time give me some issues, particularly my left knee, and so those help me to stick them in a rock and grip it. So it's just better than the rubber. And so those are, and then also the baskets, they have the mud baskets on them there. So this is my configuration that I hike with, the mud baskets and of course no rubber tips. So they also have these line locks here, and the line locks are there because that is what you're going to actually adjust the length of the tracking pole by. And you see they've got these little marks here that they've noted there is you know, different centimeters for different heights and stuff. So that's a typical way that people do it now. And of course the lock just pops down and locks that out. You only have one of these because the rest of it's not like a set of aluminum poles that would have 3 different locks where they have three different sections. Your sections here, and I'll show you how to put these together now. So you open the poles up, you put the first section in, slide that section out a little bit, put the next section in, continue to slide it out, they will tighten up, and then you pull it out until the detent button pulls out. And then to adjust it, you pull the snap lock out, adjust it to the right height, tighten the snap lock up, and you are ready to go. Then to just take it, you reverse it to take it apart, push the snap lock in, take the poles apart. As you push them in, they will get some slack in the cable, and you're done. But your sections there, they're not adjustable. Just that one section is adjustable, and that's the only one you really need to be adjustable. Is just that one section. So those are anything that's on here is made that's not carbon fiber is made out of aircraft aluminum, and certainly they do collapse down to a smaller size, more packable size than what my aluminum poles did. Comparing these to the cheapest aluminum pole that I could find out there in the big box store, they're around 80 bucks for the aluminum poles. So these came in priced at $49.99. So 50 bucks is what these cost for carbon fiber poles. Now, some of the cons, I'll give you the bad stuff, or not necessarily bad, or just the cons. First is that these particular poles are probably too tall for someone that's shorter than 5'7". Because of the, just like any carbon fiber pole, all of these sections are not adjustable. Just the one section is adjustable, and if you're 5'7" or less, it's probably going to be too tall for you. I'm 5'9", and I use it almost on the lowest level. I do put a little bit on it. So if you're 5'7", maybe even 5'8", it's probably going to be too tall for you. The ends, and this by ends I mean this section right here, are not replaceable. So when you wear this tip out, it's gone. The whole pole, matter of fact, the whole pole is gone. So just keep that in mind. On the ones that you pay more, like the $90 ones that you get at the big box store, the tips are going to be replaceable. Of course, you can buy 2 of these poles for one of those. So just keep that in mind. They do not have a cork handle option. So this is I believe it's an EVA rubber, and I like the cork. The cork tends to absorb my sweat better than this EVA does. So certainly, but you know, I've got several hundred miles on them, and that's in hot weather, sweaty weather, what have you. It's not that big a problem. I just like the feel of cork better. These, for me, kind of get a little on the, not necessarily slimy side, but just get a little damp. I don't wear gloves. If you wear gloves, you wouldn't even notice it, but I don't wear gloves when I'm hiking. And then lastly, con that would be inherent in any carbon fiber pole is that with aluminum, you can bend it and then bend it back into shape. I've done that with my other aluminum poles. I bent them and then I bent it back, and it never quite went back to the same point to where it would fully collapse back down, but it didn't break. These, while carbon fiber is flexible, a lot more flexible, I guess, than the point of the aluminum bending, they will break. And so they're either going to break or they're just going to bend and not break and be fine. So once they break, it's typically a catastrophic break. Although in my other video, I did show you how I splinted it while I was out on a hike, and that was kind of a field expedient method. I actually broke that pole the second day we were on our 5-day trip, and that splint held up fine the whole time. So, you know, there are things you can do, but now that pole was junk. So some pros about these poles, these TAC9ers. Well, one, on Amazon, and that is the only place you can buy them, is on the Amazon store. And TAC9er doesn't really specialize in ultralight gear per se. This is really their only thing that you could be considered ultralight or lightweight hiking. The rest of their stuff is more for outdoorsmen. They have some tactical shovels. That's not for hiking. That's more for, you know, outdoor and survival, I suppose. But they did have a 4.5 rating on these poles on Amazon. So that was a higher rating than what I saw on some other carbon fiber poles from the big box store. They have a 1-year, no questions asked warranty. So if you break these things in the first year that you have them, they will replace them, no questions asked. And I broke one as I indicated before, and had to splint it. And when I contacted them, they just sent me another pair, no questions asked. So their customer service was great. That was another thing that I really liked about it, was that they had great customer service. You know, if I were to call one of the other manufacturers, I don't know that I would even be able to talk to somebody. Now, certainly if I was to buy it at one of our big box stores, I could probably go in there, and they have pretty good policies as well. I don't know. I've never asked them to replace a tracking pole that I damaged. But in any case, you know, they replaced it, no questions asked. The whole kit, not just, I mean, they just sent me 2 brand new tracking poles, baskets and everything. So couldn't beat that. I really appreciate that. They are a US based company. I don't know if they source this from off the US or not. It would not surprise me, because that's what a lot of people do. However, they are a US based company. And the price, another pro again, is the price is much lower than the cheapest carbon fiber tracking poles that I found at any of the big box stores, or pretty much. There are some that are cheaper online, but not by much. And you know, their customer service was so good that I just I felt like that you know, I'm not going to change to go with a cheaper, unproven brand. So I know that I indicated that I broke one and had to fix it, and that was totally my fault out in the field. You know, oftentimes you get it stuck in a rock and your momentum carries you forward. And if you've ever hiked through the Maryland, particularly the area just south of the Pennsylvania line, you know how rocky, and some stretches through there are just nothing but rocks. And you can jam a pole in a crevice and move forward. And as you move that pole over a rock, that rock becomes an obstacle, and you'll break anything or bend anything. So that was totally my fault, and but they did me a solid by getting me a new pair. So I would recommend them. I'm still hiking with them. Going to continue to hike with them for the foreseeable future. So what's the other piece of gear I got? Well, I also found a stove here, and this is the Mountain Style BRS 3000T Folding Mini Ultralight Outdoor Camping Cook Burner Gas Stove. That is its full name. I just call it the Mountain Style because they only sell one of them. But they sent this to me, and I have used this on the trail for several hundred miles, several section hikes that I've done out there, and it has not failed me yet. Before that, I was using this one, so you can see the difference. Now this one packs down fairly small as well. I never had a problem getting it into my stove. That is how I store my stove and store all my cook gear together, is I just put it in my pot, and I've got I use this. I don't use it if I'm on a picnic table at a shelter, but I will use this if I'm on dirt. And of course, I put my gas down in there, lighter, a stove, and I'm done with it. So, and they also sent me this. I had not seen this before. This is a 750 milliliter titanium, and of course I've seen that and I had that, but I've not seen one that has a bell on it like this for hanging it. So I've seen it with the folding here and of course the lid, but not with a bell. So kind of like that. But this has done me well. Have not had any kind of problems with it. It doesn't have as big a real estate on the top up here, but it fits fine. Have not had the pot fall off or go anywhere. Puts out about 2,700 watts of heat. Burns about 140 grams an hour. There is no igniter on it, so you'll have to use a lighter, and it comes in, it weighs 47 grams or 1.7 ounces. So its stat says it takes 2 minutes and 58 seconds to boil 1 liter of water. I looked at the stats for this one and others like it, and they're all the same. It's kind of odd. They all say the same thing. It's almost like they copy and pasted each other's descriptions. But in any case, that seems to be the standard for boiling a liter of water. I don't ever boil a liter of water. So the most I'm going to boil is maybe a third of this right here for a dehydrated meal or coffee or something like that. So the only times that I use this stove is in the mornings for coffee, or if I'm going to have some of that great Mountain House biscuits and gravy, or I usually have a hot meal when I get to camp at night. Even if it's a tuna pack, I'm going to take that tuna pack, boil water, and stick that tuna pack down in my in this pot and heat that thing up. I just like a hot meal when I get to camp. That's just me. So flame is adjustable, so turn it up or down. And but it's very solid, it's very neat, goes into my pot very easy. The thing that's really amazing about this is that it was $12. So you can't beat something with this precision machining and brass, titanium, steel, aluminum. I mean, you can't beat that for $12. Good gosh. That's amazing to me that somebody would sell something like this for $12. This is an American company or a U.S. company. It's based in Oklahoma. I did not speak with these folks personally, with the TAC9er people. I did speak with this fella, and I'll put his name up here. And of course, down in the description section, I'll leave the links for all of these where you can go and check them out either on Amazon or check them out on their website. Had great experience with everybody that was both companies that were involved with these. So I do recommend these products. I don't get any kickback or anything from that. But these are something that I'm using, and you should consider yourself using them as well. And that's actually light enough to where, you could take two as a spare if you wanted to. I mean, it just doesn't weigh anything. Well, folks, that is all I got for the mountain style ultralight camping stove and the TAC9er carbon fiber tracking poles. If you got any questions, leave them down in the comment section. I'll be glad to answer any of those, or if you got any comments in general, leave those down there. If you got something out of it, give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel, and be sure down in the description section you can go and find all of the thru hikers that we are currently tracking down there, and that you can go and track. Go to their social media and you can go and give them an attaboy, sign up for their YouTube or Instagram or trail journals, whatever they have, and let's get these thru hikers all the way to Katahdin or all the way to Springer or anywhere between. That's all I got, folks. I appreciate it. As always, appreciate you, and we'll see you out there.